You know, the Great British Pub, it's so much more than just a place to grab a pint, right? It's the absolute heart of the community, but that heart is under serious threat. In this explainer, we're going to look at why so many are closing their doors for good and dive into a practical framework that might just be their key to survival. So, let's pull up a stool and see what's really going on.
Okay, let's start with a number, 8.
That's how many local pubs are shutting down permanently.
Every single week. And look, we're not just guessing here. This is the grim reality reported by the Morning Advertiser. It's a full-blown crisis for one of Britain's most beloved institutions.
And this isn't just happening in a few sleepy villages. It's a problem all across the country. So what's really forcing these pubs to call last orders for the final time?
You see the headlines, right? It's all about rising costs, energy, taxes, wages. And yeah, they're not wrong. Margins are stretched thinner than ever. But the source material we're looking at points to something else, a kind of silent killer for these businesses: the struggle to get people in during the week. A busy weekend just isn't enough to make up for a totally dead Tuesday night.
And for the independent landlord, the person actually running the pub, this battle is especially tough. It really is a classic David versus Goliath story.
Okay, now take a look at this, because the scale of the gap is just wow. On one hand, you've got a local pub owner trying to update their Facebook page in between pulling pints, and on the other, big chains are reportedly pouring millions into things like custom loyalty apps and have entire professional marketing departments. It just shows you how uneven the playing field is. It's an almost impossible fight for the little guy.
So the landlord has to do it all themselves. And that 15% from marketing might not look like a huge slice of the pie, but get this, according to a camera survey, that's about 8 hours a week. A full working day. A whole day spent not on hospitality, but just trying to figure out how to get people through the door. I mean, there has to be a better way, right?
And thankfully, there is. The solution isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's really about doubling down on what we already know works. It's all built around 5 proven ways to get people in, what we'll call footfall drivers. Look, none of this is rocket science. These are the fundamentals, but they are so reliable. From quizzes and sports to simple food deals, these 5 drivers are the landlord's best weapons for fighting back against those quiet midweek evenings. And the impact is huge. A well-run pub quiz just on its own can boost the weekly take by an average of 300 to 500 quid. That's not just extra pocket money. For a lot of these pubs, that is literally the difference between breaking even and actually turning a profit.
And this just nails the point, doesn't it? It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple, effective offers that give people a real reason to come out on a Tuesday or Wednesday, that's what truly moves the needle.
So here's the crucial point. If we know what works, how do we make it manageable for a landlord who's already stretched to their absolute limit? Well, the answer is all about working smarter, not harder, using simple tech to do the heavy lifting.
Now, when we say AI here, let's be clear. We are not talking about robots pulling pints. We're talking about simple tools that can automatically create a poster for the weekend's football match, or generate a quiz in 5 minutes, or draft a social media post. It's really just about automating the boring stuff.
And just look at the difference it makes. That full day they were spending on marketing tasks, slashed all the way down to just 30 minutes. That is hours of time handed back to the landlord to focus on what they do best: serving their customers and running their pub.
But you know, this isn't just theory. Let's look at a real-world case study that put this exact framework to the test.
So, meet the Teal Farm Pub. They were facing that exact same midweek slump we've been talking about. So they decided to combine those 5 footfall drivers with some of these smart, automated tools. And the results were immediate and honestly staggering. Their marketing time plummeted, just as we saw. Attendance at their quiz nights shot up by over a quarter, and most importantly, they saw an extra £1,100 in the till in just 1 month. That is an absolute game changer. And the cost to achieve all this? This is where it gets kind of crazy. It's a tiny fraction of the alternatives. Compared to hiring an agency, or even just what you'd pay weekly for printing posters, the $29 monthly cost for a tool that does all this for you is, well, it's almost nothing. This chart really puts it all into perspective. You've got this tiny monthly investment of £29, and it has the potential to generate a weekly revenue uplift of hundreds of pounds. The return on investment here isn't just good, it's massive, and it's accessible to any pub, no matter how small. So, it really leaves us with this question. We're losing hundreds of pubs every single year, but maybe the solution isn't some massive government scheme.
Maybe it's just a combination of proven traditional strategies powered by simple, affordable technology. What if a smarter way of working could be the lifeline this beloved industry so desperately needs?